human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Human music. I like it. I like it. Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Just get to talking, and then, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's time to start. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It is Monday the 25th. That sounds right? June 25th? Yeah, I think it's the 25th. Hello! It's Monday, June 25th. And so it's time for another episode of The Palaver with my beautiful, wonderful friend, Bex, who you can see at twitch.tv/DarthBex. Hello to all of my friends who are joining us in chat, and I'll just quickly say, Timber! Blah, blah, Timber! How you doing, Bex?
I'm doing okay. Doing good. It's a Monday, so it could be better.
Mondays. You and I have already done 15 minutes of conversation just shooting the shit. This is all the Palaver is, by the way. It's just shooting the shit. So we've already done 15 minutes, before.
Like a warm-up.
Yeah, warm-up. I mean, what we already talked about, let's see, cats.
That's a given.
Green screens, headphones, and I feel like there was something. Oh, Christian music.
Yep.
We've already covered the gamut. I mean, do you want to tell these guys what we were talking about, in regards to podcasts and listening to the radio? I already started to sort of forget about what we were talking about.
Yeah, so we were just kind of going on about how Rev wishes he could podcast every night of the week because, Rev likes to talk and Rev's good at talking, so kind of makes sense. And then I commented on how podcasting, people, it's so saturated now because I think of places like Spotify and iTunes, and everybody has a podcast now, so it's hard to break into, but I'd rather listen to a podcast than the radio now. And even when I'm lazy and don't plug in my phone, I immediately regret trying to listen to the radio. So
I know. I think that was how we got on the topic of Christian music. As I said, the last time I was listening to the radio, I ended up listening to Christian music because it was well, at least these are songs I haven't heard a million times, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, oh, look.
Especially the pop radio stations. They play the same shit every hour. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so there's another station nearby me that plays only plays 80s music, right? But it's still the same 40 songs.
Yeah.
It's if you listen to that station for 2 or 3 days in a row, you're going to hear the same songs. And of course I grew up in the 80s, so I know those songs backwards and forwards anyways, so I don't know, what can I tell you?
That's good.
Hey,
You want fresh?
I'm going to ask you for a favor, Bex.
Is it to move some lighting?
Nope.
Okay.
Because we've got people here who weren't here earlier. Do you want to tell people what I'm doing on my channel?
Oh, yeah. Rev is doing something very exciting. Giveaway, as it were on Twitch. Very exciting. So you just need to lurk. It's not even you don't even got to pay money. I mean, if you pay money, you get more, but that's a different thing. But you just got to lurk, and you can buy a ticket to win a $25 Amazon gift card. And that's going to be, I think you said you're trying to do it monthly for a viewer reward kind of thing, or is this we're testing it out to see how it goes kind of thing?
Yeah, this is the test month. Yeah. I was very eloquent, and I described it very well at 11 o'clock this morning when I, did my first stream of the day. Yeah, but yeah, it's a way to reward my viewers who are loyal, and even those people who lurk, you watch the channel. You earn points by watching the channel, even if you're lurking and not there. And then when you have 500 points, you buy a ticket. And in 4 weeks, I'm going to draw one of the tickets, and that person gets a $25 Amazon gift card.
Who couldn't use a $25 Amazon? Literally, as I was watching. So if I win, what would I buy from Amazon? Like, I can always buy some extra bullshit on Amazon. Like, do I need it? No. Is it free 2-day shipping with Amazon Prime? Which, speaking of Prime, if you give Rev your Twitch Prime sub, you get basically a free ticket, because that'll earn you 500 points, which you can use to buy a ticket.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, anyone lurking earns 1 point a minute. You earn double point. You earn another point a minute if you're talking in chat. Like if you say something once every 5 minutes, you get another point. And then anyone who subscribes gets 2 additional points every minute. And then if you sub, you get a bonus 500 points immediately. And the tickets are 500 points. In fact,
$25, fam.
Mummy Evil gifted 5 subs today after she realized that gifting a sub gives the points to the person who bought the sub. She's like, bonus points. Oh.
I think, honestly, if I got it, it would go to getting a new headset, so I don't have dry rot headset on my hair anymore. So
that's one of the other things we were talking about was headsets, right? Look at James says, give this woman a job in the sales department. Don't you actually have a job in sales? Like, isn't it your job in sales?
I'm finance. I don't sell anything, but I do work with money, so kind of close.
Kind of close. Yeah, my wife. Yeah. Oh, so Timmy, the thing is, I was originally going to do like a Steam gift card, and I was like, well, but the people who watch and play on Xbox, they can't use it. And I was like, Amazon.
Everybody could find something on Amazon, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. And it's just like it's not one of those things where it's like come in and do a giveaway. It's like an all month long thing. And I also said that it's a test, like it's test this month, and if it works out and if our sub numbers get up, maybe next month I'll give away 2 cards, or maybe I'll bump it up to a $50 card, or there's a lot to play with. We're testing. And speaking of which, Drunk Irish Potato has just gifted a tier 1 sub to RevBot.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yes! And James coming in with the 250 biddies, which, by the way, I want to give people points if they cheer with bits, but I have to do that manually, so I'm going to do it, like, tonight, later.
Get them points, fam.
Yeah, I'll do it later. Thank you very much. Do you want to do a simultaneous whoop whoop for Drunk Irish Potato and James?
Sure.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Whoop whoop! Thank you very much, Drunk Irish Potato and James. You guys got the doubles. All right, so what's going on with your headphones? They're rotting?
Yeah, they're like dry rot. I'll see if I can show you. You see how they're like cracked and stuff in the middle?
Yeah.
And it gets all in my hair, and also they're heavy as fuck, and they're wireless, which most people in the gaming community and have nice setups. They're like, wireless is the way to go, unless your headset's a piece of shit and dies in the middle of an Overwatch match, and you get snuck up and butt fucked from behind from a Reinhardt that you didn't hear because your headset died. So just really in the market. So if anybody has any suggestions, feel free.
Did you ever get like they die right in the middle? Like you hear the Spondergun, and then you're like, uh-oh, shit.
She hacked me, bitch.
Sombra just hacked me and I didn't hear it. No one likes a surprise butt fuck.
And also, I don't want a microphone on my headset since I have a Yeti mic.
Well, I mean, I've been pretty happy with these. As I told you, I don't know if that's going to show up. So that's I'm not paid. They're not a sponsor or anything. But Avantry, that's the brand I have, and I like it. The only thing is, I want to get new ones because the only problem I have with them is the ear cups are very shallow. And so they kind of press my ears in a little too close to my head. So other than that, they're really nice. The sound quality's good. You can use them wireless or wired. They have a microphone, but it's not a boom. It's like a condenser.
Yeah. I feel like headset comfort is really important, too, because if you have not the right kind of headset, it to increase your chance of, like, headaches and stuff. if it's too tight or if it's like weighing too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, these ones are really light, and they're very springy. Like they don't like, you know how some like clamp your head in like.
Yeah. Migraines.
Yeah. Zeno likes the direction this is going. # not sponsored.
I swear a lot. Sorry.
Yeah. How fucking dare you, bitch.
Demonetized on YouTube already.
Oh, I haven't even tried to get monetization on YouTube since
That's a
before
whole other can of worms. So.
Have you ever tried to do that? Have you ever tried to make money on YouTube?
No, I mean, I just recently started uploading my Overwatch to my YouTube, but that's more so I can get an Overwatch VOD reviewer to watch them and kind of tell me how I'm a fuckhead and bot, and there's a reason I'm in gold. So, but I don't. It might be fun to make like little compilations and stuff of me raging in Overwatch. I'm sure people would enjoy that.
I literally use my YouTube for one thing and one thing only, just to archive my podcast. That's it. And by the way, if anyone clicks on the YouTube button down below, it'll take you to my YouTube where you can watch past episodes of the Palaver and also my Friday night podcast that I do, the Team MZ podcast. But yeah, I mean, it was very tough to make money on YouTube before, and then they changed it, and now like
it's super hard unless you're already a well-established YouTuber, pretty much. And even them, like, I'm still one of the people that watches PewDiePie videos because I find him entertaining, and he's way less than he was when he was at the height of his popularity and screaming all the time.
Yeah.
But he gets demonetized all the time because someone will copyright 1 second of his review of something, and they'll strike it for that, even though it's a review.
Yeah,
so.
it's bad. And I mean, there's no reason that like, it makes sense. I mean, if PewDiePie uses a clip from someone else, why wouldn't you go after him? He's making millions and millions of dollars, and you're making nothing. Fuck him. I mean, I get it, but it's like, it's so hard to make money on YouTube. I don't know how anyone does it. I was talking to I was trying to get this one person on who's like on that cusp of making money. They're like, I'm getting to the point where I'm making money on YouTube, but not as much as I'm putting in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I'd love to have you on my podcast. And he's like, oh yeah. And then disappeared, never answered me again, doesn't respond to me anymore.
The way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, you have no idea how many people I've tried to get on this podcast that like just don't answer me, or like way back when I was doing for episode 69 of the podcast, I wanted to get a porn star on.
That would have been great.
I must have reached out to and tried to contact 3 dozen different, either like. I was gonna say,
did you try cam girls or just exclusive like porn stars?
Porn stars, cam girls, strippers, and company like adult entertainment companies. Just no nothing.
That's one of my favorite podcasts called Guys We Fucked. Some of my favorite episodes, they interview porn star.
That's oh god, I even know the names. I'm drawing a total blank, but I've never, even though I've never watched that one, if you said the names, I'd be like, yes, them.
Christina Hutchinson.
Yes. Yes.
It's the anti-slut shaming podcast.
Yeah, it's not that I've ever seen that podcast, but I've listened to them on other people's podcasts. Like
that's
Joe
all
Rogan.
About them because they were on Joe Rogan. He's like, oh yeah, I know who they are, and I've been telling him about them for a while.
Yeah.
But they can be a little, not to get too political, they can just get a little bit to one side real hard, and I'm pretty much in the middle, so sometimes that can get annoying. But other than that.
James Anarchy brings up a great point in chat. He goes, that's why there's a huge amount of YouTubers coming to Twitch and Mixer now.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite YouTubers that I've watched since college, she's also changed a lot. It's interesting, the older YouTubers, like how YouTube was, like when I was in like a senior in high school or like freshman in college, how YouTube was then versus how it is now. But she and her partner stream on Twitch now, and they probably make just as much, if not more money streaming on Twitch, just because there's those diehard YouTube followers that they have that just want to have their content no matter what they're doing. They're not that great at it, but he's pretty good at PUBG. He's played in like tournaments and stuff, but that's all they play now too is PUBG, which is kind of annoying because she used to play like Elder Scrolls Online, and it was great to watch her because she wasn't very good, and it was just sometimes it's fun to watch people be bad at games. Which,
yeah, plus you get the instant interaction. Like
Yeah.
James made a comment in chat, and I was able to react to it. When you watch a YouTube video, it's just
yeah, like you hope that they read your comments, but for the vast majority they don't.
yeah. I don't know. Actually, a couple of the different porn stars that I tried to get in touch with, they have Twitch channels. And so,
Are they IRL streamers?
No! Believe it or not, most
They
of them are
actually
video
play
games.
games.
Yeah, yeah, most
Okay,
of them are
I
video game
respect the
streamers.
fuck out of that.
Yeah. One of them is like triple A status porn star. I don't want to say any names, but yeah, if you know porn at all, which I do. And then you saw wait a second,
Like, do they stream pretty frequently, or is it like once in a blue moon? Because I feel like I would have stumbled across it somehow.
It's not that frequent,
No.
unfortunately. No, and it's weird. I feel like they got to the point where they streamed enough to get partner, and then they dropped down to 1 to 5 times a week whenever they feel like it. And they got their little
I must
community.
have said some bad shit. I'm just gonna.
But it's not like they do anything lewd or anything weird on Twitch. It's like you would just go to their channel and just be like, oh, there's a hot chick playing video games,
Yeah.
And it's not like they talk about porn because I've checked out 1 or 2 of their streams. It's just them playing like anyone else. I don't know. Whatever.
I like that. That's nice.
I suppose it's a better thing to do after porn than I guess I'll just do meth and die. Some of them they're like, well, I'm gonna do porn, and then I'm gonna save all my money, and then I'm gonna get into this, whatever. They're like, well, I'm gonna get into porn, and then I'm gonna use my fame to bankroll a YouTube career or a Twitch career.
That's thinking ahead,
Yeah.
More than I'm doing.
Yeah. Speaking of porn, I got to watch James Anarchy's wife, Rachel Rabbit, stream the other day. We were talking about Bebop, who's done a lot of artwork for us.
Oh yeah,
you and me both.
Yeah.
Rachel Rabbit was doing creative streams. She was drawing. God, doesn't it amaze you when you see someone talented?
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I can't do anything. I can do good makeup. That's about it. I am semi-talented at makeup. That's the only creative thing I'm good at.
Right? I don't know. I even used to do creative Photoshop streams, and then
I like those.
Yeah, but you know what the problem was? I felt like I could either be creative or I could be a good streamer and not do both. Does that make any sense?
Because you can't. I feel like if you're in the creative zone, it's hard to remember to interact with the chat and stuff because you get really, and that's just the nature I think of creative streaming is if you're going to be good at the creativity you're doing, it's hard to keep track of the chat because you're kind of in your head trying to keep the stuff flowing,
Yeah, I mean, I would have songs going, but occasionally, so when I would do creative Photoshopery, and now I don't stream it when I do Photoshop. I just made all the new bio buttons down below.
I was going to comment on that. I thought it was new because I know you go back, but between you don't want a lot of stuff. I lean on having a little bit of stuff, but
I feel like
lay out a lot. I
feel
like the giveaway is gold and shiny and exciting.
Yeah, because it's gold. It's a gold giveaway.
It's like a legacy legend drop.
Legendary.
Overwatch.
Legendary. Yeah. I got away from having any text down there, but honestly, there's some stuff I just need text for, like the schedule.
I think it's worth it. And it's still, I don't feel like it's a lot. It's concise. It's still small.
Yeah. But some of the stuff that's down there, like Steam, Donate, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, that doesn't need any text, and I could get away with no text. But then it's then what do I do?
Yeah.
right? Like, what do I do in that spot if I don't have those? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I like it. I think it makes.
I don't know. But so what I was gonna say is when I'm doing Photoshop stuff, like there's plenty of times where I click something and then I sit back and look at it and do this. Do I want? And that doesn't translate well to streaming, you know? I don't know. James says, check your channel when you get a chance. Darth Beck's hype.
Hey, I will. I was actually thinking about streaming tonight since I have a face on. Who knows?
Hey, do it, fam. I'll raid into your channel after we're done here, and then anyone can just sit around and wait for you to go to live.
I'll probably just play Overwatch. I do have a new game I'm gonna stream, but like I feel like I need to be a little tipsy to start it too, because it's like a scary, it's described as being like I showed it to you, Rev. You probably could describe it better than
you
me.
did.
It's like it's a scary game, but there's also like overtly sexual shit in it, and I don't know. I feel like I need to be in the right headspace to play it.
I would say it's a lightly erotic adventure horror game.
There we go. That was good. There's a person, and I'm the Cthulhu person.
Cthulhu?
What's his name?
Cthulhu?
No, the person. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts.
Lovecraft?
Yes, it's like Lovecraftian is a word that's used a lot to describe that game too. So I'm excited to try it.
I'll be there.
There's an achievement for being in an orgy room for 10 minutes. So I probably can't do that on stream because that would be kind of breaking the terms of service. But I'll be doing that later to get some achievements.
Well, yeah, I mean, you even messaged me and you're like, hey, can I stream this game? And I looked, and it's not on the list of Twitch banned games. And Twitch's rules when it comes to any adult content in video games is if it's a part of the video game, and the video game itself is not sexual themed by nature, like, in other words,
it's not like the anime porn games, you know?
Right. And as long as you don't mod a game to include anything sexual, and as long as you don't spend overly much time on any sexual content, then you're fine. Like,
yeah.
Witcher 3 has
some of the not as good as Witcher 2 sex scenes, but good sex scenes.
Weirdly enough, Witcher 2 did have better sex scenes. Like
the one with Triss in the Rose Room, one of the best sex scenes in any game ever. My favorite. Yeah.
Dude, that's why it just kills me that people don't understand that Triss is bae and Yennefer is a bitchy cunt.
She is, but I prefer the way Yennefer looks more. Like I like mainly because when I have my dark hair, I feel like I kind of look a little bit more like, because I have light eyes and dark hair like she does. I am not a pretty redhead with green eyes, so. You know,
it's fair.
Triss is, you know.
I mean, I've told you my feelings on the matter, right? I think, let me just go over them real quick. Triss is the bitchy head cheerleader in high school that you're lucky enough to take out on dates. And
Do you mean Yen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yen,
this seems like you're describing Yennefer.
Yeah, sorry. Yennefer is the bitchy head cheerleader who you know is going to cheat on you and then you know is going to dump you eventually. Even though she says she loves you, like, she's just a bitchy cunt and she treats you like shit. Yennefer is the girl that lives down the block who's always loved you since you were 5 years old and you stood up to a bully in front of her and just blossoms into a beautiful woman and will bake you pies and raise babies for you and will just love you.
I do need a new Witcher, because my Witcher playthrough I romanced Yen, so I need to go through and do one where I do the Triss path.
I want to go back and play Witcher 3 so bad, but I have so many other games I want to play.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I say that, but there's so many. Like I haven't finished Detroit Becoming Human. I'm in the middle of doing that Divinity campaign with Ben. Like. And any spare time I have, I'm like, well, maybe I'll just play Overwatch. So it's like, I don't really, unless the only game that I know for a fact I'm going to drop everything to play is the Cyberpunk game that Project Red's coming out with, because that's going to be my wheelhouse 700%. So
did you hear about, like, there was someone was it sort of leaked that the romance options and sex scenes are going to make Witcher 3 seem mild?
No, but that sounds fantastic. You know, I play games for their sex scenes. So, and like literally, honestly though, what got me into playing RPG games was the romance that you could have as female Darth Revan and Karth Onasi in the first Knights of the Old Republic game. I played that game so many times just because I was like 12 and I was like, oh, this romance stuff is giving me the butterflies. And I just kept fucking playing it. And then I switched to Mass Effect 3, which was, there was different kind of butterflies then when that was happening. So, you know, it's just, that's why I started playing games.
Real quick, Mass Effect 3, who's the go-to? It's that jackass that I hate, right? Caden?
Yeah. I'm a basic white bitch, so I always basic white bitch romance. Like Dragon Age, I romance Alistair, and the fucking, what's his name? The one in the, you don't know, because I think you just played Origins anyway, so you know who Alistair is.
I really only played Origins, and I didn't even love Origins, to be honest.
Yeah, but I always go for like the standard boy-girl romance, which, you know, nowadays is becoming like, which is good, you know, but this is something I could rant about and have ranted about before, which is something I saw in Andromeda. They are making everybody be romanceable by everything, and I feel like you're losing the depth of the romance because they don't have as much time to spend on making that romance custom to those two characters. They're just making it so it could fit into, well, this is girl, this is boy, this is alien girl and human girl. Like, they're just making it's not as much depth, and their romances aren't as strong because they're trying to have all these, you know, inclusive, which is good. And one of the best gay relationships I've ever seen was in Dragon Age Inquisition. It was between your male character and a male wizard. But that's not always the case. A lot of it seems shoehorned and forced.
Well,
but anyway.
Well, going back to Cyberpunk 2077, the thing that came out about the relationships is you make your character. So it's not like Witcher 3 where you're a man and you're heterosexual. Like, Geralt is a heterosexual male. Like
so,
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's he'll fuck. You can make him fuck anything. You can make him a dog. Yeah. But he's only gonna fuck a woman.
Right. Well, what they've said is in Cyberpunk 2077, since you're making your character, you decide the gender, obviously, and you decide their sexuality. But there are going to be characters in the game that will only be gay because that is their sexuality. There will be characters that will only be heterosexual because that is their sexuality. And there will be characters that will be bisexual. So if you want to romance character X, you may not be able to, depending on what your gender is. Like, that they're like, that's
is the right way to do it, as long as they make it so it's fleshed out and they're not just trying to like make everybody happy with everything and not like force some kind of thing down everyone's throat.
I mean, I'm not going to do no spoilers. We'll keep it spoiler free. But there was a certain character in Mass Effect Andromeda that had a certain lovely accent, and I'll just leave it at that. And I found out, I can't romance them because that is only available to lesbian characters. And I'm like, bummer.
Well, the thing about and Andromeda did have that, but the romances were not fleshed out at all, and they were dumb.
They were terrible.
And then on top of that, yes, they have those romances, but they are way less satisfying than your traditional heterosexual romance. No spoilers, but the main female heterosexual romance interest to your male character had the best arc or most fleshed out romance and the best sex scene.
Yeah. I mean, I think I only played through Mass Effect Andromeda once, and I don't think I ever did a relationship. I did the one night stand with PB, and that was it. Because I just didn't care. Like, I didn't care about the characters. I didn't.
We could go down a long road.
Can we just admit that, honestly, Mass Effect Andromeda is an okay game?
If you don't think of it as a Mass Effect game, it's a solid game.
Yeah.
But if you compare it to its predecessors, it's a terrible game, and you're depressed when you finish it.
I still say to this day, the biggest problem with Mass Effect Andromeda was that they let you change your class whenever you want. You should have picked your class either at the start of the game or at the point in the story where it makes sense to choose a class, and then that's it. You're locked into that class. I feel like that is like a defining aspect of a role-playing game, and that they took that away. It didn't add to the game, it took away from the game.
Plus, and James, first of all, I'm just going to ignore that comment so we can remain friends. But
I think he's trolling. Don't worry, he's just trolling.
But I think another thing they did, and which is what a lot of AAA studios are trying to do because of when this game came out, RPG games, exploration games, were all open world. Everything was go explore, blah, 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 which works for some games. You know, Witcher 3 was an open world game, but they took ages to make it, and they made side quests that were some of the best quests in the game that you couldn't have found if you hadn't stumbled into this random fucking cave. That's how you're supposed to do that shit. You're not supposed to make it fetch, 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 go here, go here, go here, and then have an abysmal story.
Yeah.
Like, that's just... They did so many things wrong.
Yeah, you know, I'd never even thought about that, but you're right. Like, what was that? The Hoth world? I can't remember, but it was basically Hoth, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's like 3 quest hubs, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you go in and you collect all the quests, then you go out and do them, and you come back and turn them in, and then eventually you move on to the next quest hub. It's not. It didn't feel like open world. Whereas in The Witcher, you'd be out doing a quest and it would be like involved and story rich and interesting, and then you just stumble across an old woman who wants to get her pan back, and then like and it's just a stupid, and it's like the pan is just right inside a house that she's standing outside of, and she's like, the door is locked and I'm old and I can't get into the house.
I
and you're
remember
like,
that quest.
yeah, I got it. All right. And you just blow the door in and go get her pan and give it to her. But then there's like all this story around it. Like, it's not like
Witcher
you just...
3 is an amazing game.
You don't just walk in and pick up the pan and go, here, bitch. Like there's story that connects to the greater... Like, you know what I mean? And you just...
And I like how it like makes fun of those kind of quests, kind of at the same time, but then give it a good valid story arc to it as well. And then it's also just humorous because you're like this badass Witcher, and you're just handing this little old lady a pan because she asked you to get it. And it's cute.
And she's like, oh, it's all shiny. The guy cleaned it for me. He's like, and you're like, yeah, he didn't actually want your pan. He wanted the soot. Like, I love The Witcher. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you I went back and played Witcher 2 after playing Witcher 3, and it held up surprisingly well for its time, but man, I mean, you can't compare it to Witcher 3.
It's a little more rough to get through, I think. Like, the story is still pretty solid, but when you compare it to how 3 is, but it still plays pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Q, guys. Andromeda just bit off more than it could chew. I think
fucking EA.
I think if BioWare had taken another year to work on it, it would have come out great. But
yeah, it had the right skeleton, but when they went to kind of execute, it just kind of they focused on the wrong things.
And if you went back and played it like 6 months later, after they had done a bunch of quality of life patches...
Yeah, I haven't played it since they did all the buku of patches either.
I did, just to see what they were like. It's noticeably better.
Yeah.
But
they were more visual things, right? I mean, they couldn't have fixed the terrible story and the monotonous quest.
No. But what's the one bitch, my face hurts? That was like the big meme, my face hurts.
It's like your dad died. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just...
Addison, thank you, Q-Ash. Like, they went back and made her actually look a little bit human. Like, they actually did go back and fix her face and fix her animations. She actually looks not like a android anymore. I don't know. I love the driving. Not the what was it? The Nomad, I think it was called. In Andromeda, I thought the driving was fantastic. That was so good.
It was a lot. I mean, they've definitely improved the driving mechanics in the game from Mass Effect 3 when you're just behind on some planet and just hit something wrong and just, like, they've definitely improved in that. And the combat was probably my favorite aspect because of how fast and fluid everything felt with your powers. That and being able the vertical mobility was really cool, something that we hadn't had in a Mass Effect game until that point, and that was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
But when you're playing an RPG game and you loathe your character because no matter what decision you make, she sounds like a dipshit who doesn't have any, like, she's just very flighty and spacey, and the gravity of the situation seems to be escaping her, and she looks insane. It's just really hard to invest in the way I like to invest in an RPG. Like, I like to become obsessed with it that I cannot sleep until I finish the game. And it took me a week to beat it. And that is, to give you a frame of reference, it took me 3 days to beat Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. And Mass Effect 3, I feel like, is a smaller game. Again, we're not going to do any spoilers.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 3 is a smaller game, but it feels so much more full. It feels so much more complete than Andromeda. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, man, that one on Andromeda, that one time where you go to the toxic waste planet with the pirates, that was when I tapped out. I'm finally like, okay, from here on out, I'm doing nothing but story missions. I just want to get through this game. I'm done with the game. And I literally, I probably spent, 24, 30 hours getting to that point, and then I spent like 4 hours to finish the game after that. It's just like, I just wanted to be over that game, I don't know.
We accidentally started ranting about Andromeda.
Yeah,
We've had a separate podcast specifically addressing this, and we still can't get over it.
It was just such a disappointment, man.
And that's why I here's the thing. I desperately want Anthem to fail. But I feel like if it fails, it will be at the expense of BioWare as a production company, which BioWare has made some of my favorite games, and I know, but a lot of the people that I love their writing are not there anymore. So it's like...
Can I just say this, though? Any company that gets into bed with EA from this point out, like, you deserve whatever's coming to you. I mean, how many companies and franchises has EA killed off over the last 20 years?
The fact that they made... So at E3, they had a whole thing where they announced, not games, not new games these developers were coming out with, nothing like that. They just announced that they bought these 5 companies now. And that was considered E3. Like, are we supposed to be excited that you have them? You're not going to announce anything you're working on with them. Just that you bought them and they're yours now. Like, that's it.
That's the announcement.
It's disheartening.
Sammy, right here, this is a major Dragon Age fangirl right here. She loves the Dragon Age games. You may have been AFK, but I mean, just like, honestly, there's like 2 or 3 just giant scumbag companies out there. It's like EA and Double Fine. I just want nothing to do with those 2 companies. I just want nothing to do with them, I just don't want anything to do with anything that's got EA on it or Double Fine. In fact, someone was like, you got to play this game. And I took one look. I'm like, oh, produced by Double Fine. Don't want anything to do with it. And they're like, no. Double Fine just bought the rights to the game. And I'm like, I want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with Double Fine.
I am excited for Dragon Age 4, but I'm also terrified after what they did to Mass Effect. How can I be... Like, I don't want to know anything about it.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed Inquisition, Sammy. I enjoyed it. It was not the same as Origins, and I liked the way it looked and everything. It was leagues better than Dragon Age 2, but it still didn't capture the same feeling of Origins, but I would still play Inquisition again and again. Not as much as I played Origins, but it was enjoyable.
I should give Inquisition a chance. You know what? I won't, though, because it's EA. so I won't. Never
Well,
mind.
it was. I mean, they made Inquisition. I won't say before they got real bad. It's a good game, but the fact that you didn't even really get into Origins, I don't know. It might not just be your cup of tea.
Yeah, and it's weird because I loved that sword and sorcery role-playing game. Speaking of which, that actually, I'm going to use that as a springboard into the one thing I really wanted to talk to you about, because we're already 40 minutes in. I don't know if you know that or not.
Holy shit.
I know! That's what happens with the Palaver. We just start talking, and like I looked at the clock, I'm like, oh, 8:39. I'd better bring up Divinity 2
Original Sin.
Original Sin, thank you. So you were telling me I gotta get into this game, and it's on sale on Steam, but I just spent $2,000 on a computer, and I bought one or two things on Steam, and I bought a capture card. I don't have the money for games right now. So but you are telling me nonstop about this game. Tell me about this game.
So I didn't originally play this game, and it's been out for a while, but my partner Vince and his brother did a campaign, and he was like, Beck, I really think you would like this, because he knows the kind of games I like and that fantasy kind of vibe. And he and his brother have played Pathfinder together and whatnot. So they really like the kind of D&D role-playing stuff, which from what I understand, which I know, you being a DM for longer than I've been alive, no.
Yes, since 1984, so.
So yeah, it's longer than I've been alive.
Night is Xena.
I knew you would like this kind of game because it's not like, the D&D game like that Thorn plays. It's D&D-esque,
right.
But it plays more like an RPG game where it's tactical combat, it's turn-based combat when you get into a fight. We're playing as a party of 4, which is the max you can play online, and you manage your character. There's so many different skill sets and classes. There's only 4 races, which I could do with more races, but like I play a witch elf, and so backing up a little bit, there's I think 6 or 7 main characters that they fleshed out. So they have a backstory, but you can also make a custom character that doesn't have a backstory. But with the pre-done characters, you can still customize them to look however you like, but they have that backstory element to them as well, which is what we chose to go for because you get special quests and stuff for the backstory. So as I was saying, I play as a witch elf, who's witch elf is basically Fantasyland Sith.
Yes.
Sith.
You like? Wait! You like the Sith?
Like I know, Darth Vax. Who would have thought? The thing I liked about her backstory arc is she has, and I have a few tattoos as well. She tattoos. She was a previous slave who's escaped from her master, and this isn't spoilers because this is her background information you get when you're picking your character to know, do I want to pick this kind of thing. She tattoos the names of who's on her shit list basically onto her body, and like she's just a fucking badass bitch. And when she kills them, she like marks through them, and she's really cool. But I'm a witch, and so I am a Hydra Fist, which is healing. I mix Hydra Fist and necromancy. So I stab myself to get like a blood sacrifice. I heal myself by standing in pools of blood. So I have a spell that I can make rain blood to heal myself or to put out fires. Causes bleeding damage on my enemies. This is a general badass.
Of course you're a healer, main. Of course.
Yeah, of course I heal. But it's a really great, fun game, and it's really fun to play with other people, but you can play it by yourself, and then the only thing is I feel like it'd be a little bit more in depth because you would need to, I don't know how much you would have to manage because it's 4 party members no matter what. So if you're playing with 2 people, you each have 2 people you manage, etc., etc. So if it's just you manage all of the party. But it gets real in depth, and like the different things, like, the sneaking, and there's so many different elements. Like if you fuck up and kill someone that's you fucked up, you don't need to kill everyone.
You cut out there. If you fuck up and you kill someone and then we lost you for a second.
Oh, sorry. If you fuck up or on purpose, like my character by nature bloodthirsty, so a lot of my options are. And also, there's lizard people, and for whatever reason, my character is like really anti-lizard. So, and we have a lizard in our party. We have a lizard in our party, so I always make sure if he's around to say like the anti-lizard shit in front of him. It's really funny. So you can, if you kill someone that's related to your quest line, you can just lose that quest because you weren't supposed to kill them. But
so like you go to turn in the quest and they're like, fuck you killed my cousin.
Yeah. They're like, no. I don't know why she hates lizard people. She just does. Actually, I think the lizards were her masters, I think, if I'm remembering. So that's why she kind of has a little bit of a stick.
Yeah, for lizard rights. Oh. Yeah, I legitimately looked at it, and I had to give it some serious thought, but I'm going to tell you what I did instead. I bought Final Fantasy 15.
I've never played the Final Fantasy games.
I love the Final Fantasy games. And it's been hard because you and I have several friends who have been playing through them over the last couple months. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, lurk support, stream muted, can't watch, and I'll mute the tab, of course, not the stream, because I know how to lurk. But, I was like saying to Coyote Wildfire, I'm like, thank God you're finally done with Final Fantasy 15. Now I can watch your streams again. Because there was like 2 months where I wasn't watching 2 out of his 3 streams. I'm like, dude, I don't, I don't want to watch. I'm like, here's a lurk, but I'm not watching.
Yeah.
I also picked up one of my favorite games of the Final Fantasy series is Final Fantasy X.
Mm-hmm. They just did the remaster on that, right?
Yeah, 10 and 10-2, which actually, and a lot of people who know Final Fantasy give me so much shit over. I actually like 10-2 more than 10. And a lot of people are like, oh, lol, 10-2, that's Barbie dress-up Final Fantasy. Because
I love Barbie dress-up.
The core mechanic in the game is you've got 3 female characters are the main characters, and you play as all 3 at the same time, and you can switch your jobs in-game. So, like, you can start out as a fighter and then switch to a black mage, and you can switch jobs, and you can do it in combat. And when you switch jobs, your character changes outfits, and it's like very anime weeb, Sailor Moon. They jump in the air and they spin around, and dazzling light goes around them and goes into them, and then they drop back down to the ground, and they're wearing different clothing to represent the change in their job. And people are like, lol, weeb. But it's such a good game. X2 is such a good game.
For whatever reason, I can't get in, like, and I watch anime. Get into an anime, like, style looking game. I've tried a few times, and I just can't get into it, and I don't know why.
I understand, but you have to understand, I fell in love with Final Fantasy on the Nintendo Entertainment System. So that was the very first one, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've just been a fan of the franchise. And it turned anime. Like, it didn't start anime, it was pixel graphics.
Yeah.
So, no. A lot of people say that, Hyreal. They're like, oh, I love Final Fantasy X. How can you like Final Fantasy X2? I'm like, dude, honestly, X2 is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. It goes Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X2. Like, those are my top 3 Final Fantasy games. Like, legitimately. I don't know. It's not...
Oh, you played the game that, Wale Muna...
I usually just call him Wally.
Wally?
Yeah, Battle Chasers?
Yeah, I remember watching you play that.
Yeah, Battle Chasers was great. But you know what? I've talked to like 3 people who have tried streaming that game, and myself and these 3 people all quit playing the game at the same part. Because it gets super, super grindy, where you have to go back and keep running the same dungeon. And you've got 5, eventually you have 6 characters, and you can only have 3 people in your party at any one time. And, like, the experience goes by per person. So, like, your one party could blow through a dungeon, and then you've got 3 other guys who can't even go in there without like. And then, so not only do you have to grind your main party up to get through a dungeon, now you have to go back and grind over and over and over with the other party members. Mm-hmm. It's rough, man. It's just too grindy.
Yeah, I can't do the grind anymore. That's why, like, Bob's always like, when are we gonna go? Like, I can't do a time sink into an MMO like I did when I was in college. And I shouldn't have even done it then. Probably why it took me 5 years to get a 4-year degree. So I can't do it anymore. That's why I like playing games like Overwatch, because I can have a match and be done and go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, people shit on me for playing Hearthstone. I'm like, you don't understand. I can sit down and I can play for 10 minutes or I can play for an hour and a half. Like whatever I'm in the mood to do. Like, and it's so mindless. Like, Hearthstone is so brainless. Like,
nice to have a good, like, mindless, like, kind of just sink out of your mind kind of game. Just let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyways, but that's why I couldn't stick with Battle Chasers Night War, man. It's just so grindy. And as I was saying before, like, I have so many games I want to play. Like, right now, today I just started playing XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. Mm-hmm. I've already got, like, the next 3 games I want to play, like, lined up. Like, I was saying I'd love to go back and play more Witcher, but I also want to play, like, I've got Metal Gear Solid 4 and 5, or maybe just 5, I don't remember, that I want to play. I've got Tomb Raider, I've got Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy X and X2. Like, I've got all these games I want to play.
Yeah.
You know.
I would play Fire Emblem. Vince has told me that, because it's like, it's tactical, but there's a lot of romance in it, which, as I previously stated, to circle back here, do a little callback, I play games because I like the romances in them. At least that's how I first started playing games. Honestly, so I think I would like that. Honestly, we were just talking about Final Fantasy Tactics. That's got one of the best stories in any role-playing game I've ever played. And one of the neat things about it is you don't play the classic hero that saves the world. Like, you play as the hero who saves the world, but the whole story is told, like, sort of in flashback. Like, it's being told by, like, a bard about the events that happened 500 years ago, and so you're playing those events, right? Oh, that's cool.
But, like all of the main characters of the story are the characters around you. Like, you're the guy that's, like, leading the thrust of the story, but you're, like, the hero that eventually beats the demons, but, like, then you meet the princess, and you meet this other guy, and you meet the king, and then, like, the story is about how the king gathered troops and sent them to battle against the demons, but your name is never brought up. Like, it's very weird, but the whole story is so amazing. And I don't know. I love the story in Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm not trying to give away anything, but it's just great. I don't know.
Maybe one day I'll get into the Final Fantasy games.
Well,
or at least maybe watch a YouTube series on it.
I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics is not, role-playing game. It's a strategy tactical game, right?
Yeah.
And it was PlayStation 1 era, so it's pretty dated.
Yeah. Not the best aging.
It's a little rough. It's a little rough.
Like, when I go back and play Knights of the Old Republic, I still am, like, nostalgic and love it, but man, I wish if somebody remastered that, I'd pee my pants. Absolutely.
You know what?
I'd crowdfund the shit out of that.
If someone remastered it, I'd finally play it. I installed Kodahor, and I got about 15 minutes in, and I'm like, I can't handle these graphics. I can't.
Oh, it's so good.
I know, but I'll never find out. I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with how bad the graphics were. And I understand it's just an old
ass game.
It didn't age. It just aged so poorly, Yeah.
I would do that so much. That's how you would print money, BioWare.
What, remaster KOTOR? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like it would be hard either, right? You don't even really need to update the game engine that much. Like, the game engine, when I was playing it, felt pretty solid.
Yeah. Just make it look like graphics today. Oh.
Yeah, you
I would stop playing Overwatch. Again.
Oh, I love that you got so into Overwatch. You're like, I don't
Oh my
know,
God.
should I play it? I'm like, yes, buy it. You'll like
was
it.
so resistant because I hate shooters, but you can't even. I mean, yes, it's a shooter. It's got a lot of, but it's not a shooter because it's not like Call of Duty or Battlefront or PUBG or any of that shit. It's a team-based game, and there's so many heroes that don't require you to aim, and it's so wonderful.
Thank God.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
With it, just a little bit.
I mean, I will. If I had to pick a main, I'd say I'm a Pharah main. And actually, you do have to aim with Pharah. It's actually harder to play her than a lot of other characters because you have to aim based on distance because the rockets have such a long travel time, and you have to aim where you think the person's going to be.
Yeah.
You know? Like with hit scan characters, you just aim at them, and if you're on them when you pull the trigger, you hit them. Pharah, you have to really do a lot of prediction. I love Pharah, though.
Spam rat.
Yeah, get your trash mouse out of here, James. I like Junkrat, too. I like Junkrat. But,
I need to play Junkrat just because I've been trying to get the achievements I don't have. And his is one of them. Like, I'm never going to get the headshot in the air as a Widow achievement, but we'll try to get as much as we can.
I will never get anything with Widow because I'm terrible with her. In Intense Stakes says Hanzo mate. Aren't you a Hanzo main now? Didn't you switch from being a healer main to a Hanzo main since they upgraded him?
Yeah, I am a Storm Arrow main, actually. So, just Storm Arrow. Not Hanzo, just Storm Arrow main.
All right, just Storm Arrow main. I will say that, boy, he was in rough shape. He was so boring and terrible, and the upgrade
He's so meta now, it's crazy.
Dude.
It's crazy.
He's really enjoyable now. Like,
he's combo wombo all the time.
I still don't play.
Grab Hanzo alt, you're dead. It's brutal.
Yeah, actually, that's probably Bex's main is Moira.
Right? Yeah, I have the most hours on Mercy, but I vastly prefer playing Moira. And I'm actually, unless I'm unbelievably tilted and triggered, I actually heal as Moira. I'm not a DPS Moira. Like I said, unless I'm unreasonably tilted and my team isn't doing anything, so I...
But you actually play competitive. See, I stopped playing competitive back in Season 3. I was like...
But I only play with my team now because I will duo or like, you know, triple... I was trying to think if that was the right word. Triple Q with people, but like other people are just so unreliable. And especially as a healer main, if you don't have a team that knows how to protect you and peel for you and, you know, someone you can trust to get a fucking kill, you're just fucked. And the ladder is so brutal as a support main. You need friends. You need friends.
I mean, when I did play comp, I would almost always just solo queue, and like, what do people not understand about grouping up before going in? Like,
they just feed one at a time.
You can't feed one. Like, it's the most basic thing in the world. I don't care if you think you're the most elite 76 in the world. You're not going to take on 6 people.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing is when I'm like, okay, let's group up or no more alts, and a soldier or a Pharah will be like, hold on guys, I'm gonna clutch this. But they won't say that. They'll just go and think they're being sneaky, alt, kill no one, immediately die. So not only are they staggered, they've wasted their ult because they went in there with anybody else. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna, and that's the hardest lesson I've had to learn, especially when I play Mercy, is to not positively reinforce your DPS's bad behavior, because it will get you killed. And then, like, the number one difference between low tier Mercies and like high tier Mercies is surviving and knowing how much value you are to the team alive. So if you have to leave a fucking dumbass DPS to stay alive and pump heals into your tank, that's what you're gonna fucking do. So it took me a while to learn that and not go for bot reses, but
yeah, you
a lot
can't.
better now.
You can't. When we used to play MMOs, I used to say you can't out heal stupid.
Exactly, and that's still. It's so funny how that's the same thing, and it's still the DPS that are being fuckheads.
Yeah.
Between MMOs and
I mean, what was my saying? If the tank dies, it's the healer's fault. If the healer dies, it's the tank's fault. If the DPS dies, it's their own fucking fault.
Exactly. I should say that to my team now.
That's the way it is. That's the way. Whenever you have the Holy Trinity, that's what it is. Oh, by the way, have they put the Symmetra rework on?
She's not live to my knowledge yet.
Okay.
No. She's gonna be live really soon. I think they're just waiting until this season 10 is about to end for competitive. They're probably gonna put her live in the next patch.
I may have to re-download Overwatch and check her out.
Oh my gosh, she's so much fun to play. It's ridiculous.
Dude, I keep seeing these GIFs and videos on the Overwatch subreddit about like these 200 IQ.
It's ridiculous what you can
teleports?
teleport now. Yeah.
Like she'll throw one down over here and she'll throw one down over there, and Reinhardt will charge in one and fucking zip out the other and take out three people.
Pin a poor Mercy who thought she was safe. Because I have somewhat okay game awareness. I will literally be guardian angel to someone, and the Reinhardt will come out of nowhere and pin me.
Yeah.
And when I look at the kill cam, fucker wasn't even trying to pin me. I just glided into it, and he just got me. And I'm like, 87% of Reinhardt pins on me are when he's not even going for me. It's
But you just delicately floated into the wave. Yeah. On that note, you can watch Bex Get Salty and Tilted at twitch.tv/Darth_Bex. Please, 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 if you are not already following Darth Bex, do so. She is one of my absolute favorite people in the entire world. We've been friends for, 4 or 5 years now, right?
Yeah. Crazy.
I know. When I first met you, when I first met you, I was like, wow, this person is trash. And I was like, I'm going to teach her how to heal. And I did.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I can't keep up. I'm like, look, I'm one of the best tier tanks you'll ever meet. If you can't keep me alive, you're doing something wrong.
Like, maybe you should use this ability a little more.
You're like, no, that ability's terrible. I'm like, no, it's your best ability that you have. And then all of a sudden you started using it halfway through the dungeon. And then, like, no one died after that. I'm like, see? See?
The more you know.
Yeah, and then you went on to be probably one of my, I'll say in the top 3 favorite people to have as a healer for me. Like you, Bob, and Loina, like 3 of the best healers I've ever grouped with. So.
Good times.
That being said, we are out of time. So, are you going to stream tonight?
I was actually just booting my stuff up now.
Okay, well, what we'll do is after we get done here, we'll raid into your channel, and you won't be live right away, but you should be live very shortly with some Overwatch. So everyone's going to leave here and go watch you play some Overwatch and show your love there. And thank you for being on. I realized I hadn't talked to you in a while, so I was like, I got to get back on. I haven't talked to you in a while. And
I feel like the last time I was on the Palaver was like 2 Christmases ago, I think.
Not
because
that.
I remember because I was sitting in front of a Christmas tree.
Bex, I haven't been doing the Palaver for 2 Christmases.
Are you sure?
It may have been last Christmas, maybe.
No, it was not this Christmas because we did a drinking with friends this Christmas, and I did sit in front of the tree. But my very first Palaver, go and watch it. I'm sitting in front of a Christmas
tree. Oh, your first Palaver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought you meant the last one that you did.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, yeah, you maybe. Have I been doing this for 2 years?
I think that's the last time I was on it. I don't remember being on another time.
I have been doing the Palaver for a long time, so maybe. You were one of my first guests. Yeah.
Nah, it was a while ago.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if anyone ever wants to watch any episodes, you can go back and see how fucking fat I was by going to the YouTube link down below, and you'll see all of the old episodes of the Palaver. They're all archived, I think, up until last week's with, who did I have on last week? The Real Baggins, yeah. Mm-hmm. That note, Bex, you know how we end. Last word goes to you.
There's always, I know how it ends with pressure. The dark side has cookies.
The dark side has cookies. Good night, everyone. Go watch Bex's stream. We're going to kick you over there. So stay tuned. Love you. Bye-bye.
Rev is logging out of the system. Please stand by for a raid on another Twitch streamer. Establishing connection now. Please hold.